The Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately, target the right buyers and close more deals, reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusable isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusable.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. Find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
When you partner with Axon, you immediately gain access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. We carry all major brands and sizes of tires and wheels. We specialize in large diameter wheels for large equipment. We have one of the largest OEM replacement wheel inventories in North America. Known for extreme flotation setups, duals, and triples, we have wheels for all makes and models of tractors, sprayers, combines, and grain carts. If we don't have the wheel in stock, we'll custom build, sandblast, and paint in-house. There isn't a more vast inventory in North America dedicated to helping dealers move more iron. With facilities on the West Coast and in the heart of the Midwest, leverage our 230,000 square feet of indoor inventory to solve any problem a grower may have. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast Markets with Chip Nellinger. Chip Nellinger is with Blue Reef Agri Marketing out of Morton, Illinois. It's nice to have to come on and talk about what's happening in the world of commodities. Chip, how you doing this morning, man?
Doing well, Casey. I think finally fall is here. Starting to see some cooler temps. Football started. It's my favorite time of the year. Harvest is about to start, so it's
game day, baby.
It's time, right?
It's game day. Game day.
Game day. Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. Got a game tonight. Boys playing tonight here. Got a home game tonight. So
love it.
Love this time of year. It's my favorite. All right, man. So, man, I tell you what, I've read 3 or 4 articles so far this week about independent agencies out there taking a look at the corn crop based around some dry conditions we saw in August and coupled with some heat. And then you saw they're talking anywhere from half a bushel to a bushel and a half off of what they're seeing there. Plus, you're seeing some tar spot kind of jump up all over in pockets kind of throughout the corn belt there, Chip. So I guess as you're looking at this information, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's real, right? And I think we got a little bit of help from the USDA in a roundabout way back in August when they, projected 183 and change for yield. That's an awful high bar. I think that's going to end up being, the absolute highest yield that we trade all year. So we pushed corn down to 385, I believe, for a low in the December off of that news and the assumption we had this record crop by almost 7 bushels. And as it turns out, like you mentioned, we didn't quite finish this thing in the best way in a lot of areas. A lot of heat, some dryness, starting some harvest activity in southern Indiana, and tar spot is a real deal there. I mean, like robbing, 60, 70 bushels off the top end in those areas that are affected by that. So I think that's what is behind this little bounce that we've seen, is the fact that I think the market is starting to kind of factor in that, yeah, it's not 183, it's somewhere south of there. Is it back to 180? That's going to be the line, I think, that says, hey, if we do end up under 180, the way the demand is in corn, this thing could take on a little different light. You shrink that carryout under 2 billion bushels. Or is it still record? It's, not a 183. It's a 181 and a half, 182. Okay, then that probably limits your rally a little bit. But the uncertainty around that has caused some short covering, has caused some buying by end users, thinking that maybe we've seen the lowest price levels. And so it's been a process here in the last couple of weeks of saying, hey, maybe we got a little ahead of ourselves with that big yield, and then in a week we've got the September crop report, and that'll give a lot more direction to the market on what these yields really could be. It's the first time that the USDA goes out and actually does yield checks, so it'll be an important report.
Yep. So I guess let's help me make sense of this a little bit. So if USDA is saying 185, kind of where they're pegging that stuff. 186, I've heard 186 to 187, in that range. I guess as you're taking a look at this now, Chip, you see, hey, we see 182 and a half, 183 come in. Are we back up to that $455 corn pretty steady there, or what's that number look like to you?
The highest print we've seen, I believe, was 183.2. That was the August USDA report. But that got people thinking, like, okay, maybe that's going to be increasing from there. Maybe it is a 184. Maybe it is a 185. And I think that was part of what drove us to those contract lows there 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now I think, in my mind, the kind of the magic number would be 180, right? If we get down towards 180 or below, remember, 178, 179 crop is still going to be a record crop by a couple, 2-3 bushels. And so the way the demand base is structured, 3 or 4 bushels makes a difference, on the carryout, and it gets it pretty tight if we are going to be down towards 180. And you're not going to know on the September crop report, but the way this works generally is, if they cut it a bushel or a bushel and a half on the September crop report, then you get the market thinking like, uh-oh, maybe that's the trend. Maybe in October they're going to cut it another bushel and a half. Maybe we are going to end up under 180. And so it's the size of the cut if we see one, and if it's much more than a bushel, if it gets up in that bushel and a half, 2 bushel range, I think you get the market fearing that, okay, that's the trend, and they're going to find continuing cuts into the October and beyond, and maybe get the yield under 180. So from that aspect, it is a really important report. If they come out and they cut 0.2 of a bushel, we probably head back down towards the recent lows, because you get the market thinking like, okay, it is close to 183. They're not going to change it much. So in my mind, it has to be a pretty sizable cut. Bushel and a half, 2 bushels. I think that gets the market concerned that we might shrink this thing under 180, get the carryout tight. We need to spend some time well north of $4 in here. And so I'd never like hanging too much emphasis on any one particular USDA report, but the way it's structured this year with that high bar early on in August on those yields, the September report coming up here next Thursday is really important in the market's mind.
What's the likelihood you see something like that happen?
And that's the question, right? Because of the way they do this now. They used to do those actual field surveys starting in August, and they don't do that anymore. They wait till the September report. So August is just a shot in the dark. So the likelihood of them doing that, I think it could be pretty good likelihood that they cut more than a bushel, somewhere between 1 and 2 bushels. I think could be very realistic on corn. I don't know about beans. From what I've heard on early harvest on beans, the bean yields might be a real deal. There's some awful good-looking beans, and some of these very, very early yield reports on beans lead you to believe that maybe they are a record. Maybe they are going to be north of 53 nationwide. But corn, the way the corn finished, some problems. You mentioned earlier, tar spot, dried down too fast, probably knocked some yield off here with this really hot stretch we had a couple weeks back where, most of the Midwest was up there at or north of 100 degrees. And it was a dry heat too. That people joke about dry heat in Phoenix or Las Vegas. It was 100 degrees and it wasn't very, very high humidity in some of those areas. And that is the wrong time to have that happen. When corn's starting to dry down, it sucks some yield right off the top of it when you see days like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So another thing I need to have you help me with today is what's going on with wheat. I mean, it can't get a good report, but it also can't get any help on the market. So I guess what's the situation there, Chip?
Yeah, the wheat is wheat is just one. There's a saying in the wheat market from long ago. Wheat is the Sybil, right? Remember the movie Sybil, that the lady that had like 19 personalities or whatever. That's the wheat market. It's hard to figure out. We're finally getting a little bit of a bounce, but you have literally for 2 months or more, probably 3 months, just continued to every story that's come out fundamentally on wheat seems to have been supportive and bullish, right? We just continue for 2 months, almost on a weekly basis, you get a reduction on the estimates of the European crop size, the French crop in particular, which is a big crop. You've had downgrades on the Ukraine and Black Sea area. Just unbelievable amounts of bullish news that you throw at the wheat market, and it just continues to go lower every day. And so maybe we have got to a spot that prices went low enough for long enough to kind of start re-stimulating demand. Our exports have been okay quietly. They have picked up. And so that is a good benefit. I think that we are now competitive against a lot of other sources of wheat. And we finally started to see the funds come out of some shorts, and we've got a little bounce generated in wheat finally. Now, will it hold? I'm not sure. And it kind of needs to. I think that you've got the corn and the wheat prices back into a relationship that if corn has any chance of rallying, wheat's going to have to kind of come along for the ride. If wheat rolls back over and goes down into new contract lows, I think that that's really going to hold corn back. So unfortunately, even if you don't grow wheat, if you're only a corn grower, a lot of the fate of corn is going to be looking over there at the wheat market saying, okay, can we get up off our rear end here and rally a little bit off of some tighter world wheat supplies, and maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see that because we've seen a little bounce off the lows here. The market looks okay. We finally got above some moving averages. The funds are still short, and that's what it's going to take is to get these funds driven out of these short positions and buying some of those back, and then maybe we can kind of see some momentum to the upside. But it has been a really difficult market to figure out because you've thrown bullish news at it, and it just has been a steady $3 drop in wheat over the last 24 months. Just very few days or weeks you can rally the wheat market.
Right. Yep. All right. We touched on beans. I want to jump back to a couple things here. So you've seen a lot of destination unknown soybean cargoes getting shipped out. Obviously, come to find out they're coming from China. There's a couple articles out there that I've read that say that Brazil could be out of exportable beans by the end of September going into October. So you're seeing some stuff there. So scrambling around. I guess as you look at the situation there, Chip, what are your thoughts on are there going to be some shortages for exportable beans coming out of Brazil, and B, do you see a lot more Chinese demand coming our way, especially on the soybean crush side of it, than we're seeing right now?
Well, That's the question. We've been so far behind on hitting our export numbers um, that we're finally catching up, right? Again, like the wheat market we talked about, I think beans got to a low enough level. We got competitive again. We're seeing almost on a daily basis, flash sales, selling beans to unknown, which is usually China on the bean side. And then China, like yesterday, we sold almost 300,000 between unknown and China. So that's good to see. Um, whether Brazil's out of beans, probably seasonally, they this is the time frame where they kind of start to run low on supplies. Also, they got some really dry weather down there. It's affected. They got low water levels, so some of that transportation on beans is done by barge down there in some of those northern areas, and so they're struggling with that. So it is good to see. Will it continue? I think is the best question, and that's what everyone's kind of scratching their head because we're so far behind on the pace that we need to be what China normally buys from us, even though they're buying it almost last 3 weeks, almost on a daily basis. They're so far behind, it's going to be hard to catch up. And remember that the USDA has projected total bean demand this marketing year. I think it's about 200 million bushels higher than a year ago. And so some of that's going to come from domestic crush, that we're going to increase that as we bring online these renewable diesel plants. But some of that's going to have to be exports, and I don't know if we're going to hit that, even with China catching up here. Obviously, the size of this upcoming South American crop is going to be part of that as well. And they haven't even started planting down there, so we got the whole growing season ahead for
Right.
Brazil and Argentina. So there's so many moving parts there, but the bottom line is China's back. They're buying U.S. beans. It's good to see. As long as they're doing it, it's probably going to keep a floor underneath the bean market. But some of this very early, and I'm talking like early. It's only started days ago on bean harvest. Some of these bean yields I'm hearing are just tremendously good.
Yeah.
And so that could be something that maybe limits us a little bit if we have this massive bean crop here, and it looks like we might be working on that.
Yep. Sounds like it. All right, Chip. Last topic here. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on over in the beef sector. So past that, we've passed the seasonal high for meats, as we see, grilling season, quote unquote, coming to an end, even though it is tailgate season, which I think is another grilling season all in itself, right? But
Yeah.
But as you're looking at that, Chip, what do you see happening there? And you've seen some firming up of the beef prices over the last couple of days. So what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think that the market, we've had a pretty healthy break off of the highs, over the last couple of months in here. Some of it's seasonal, like you said. We're post that grilling season. I agree with you, Casey. We're from the Midwest. I've been out when the snow's flying,
Yeah.
flipping burgers on the grill. So it's 12-month grilling season in the Midwest.
That's right.
There's no stopping the grilling in the Midwest. But
Yep.
maybe those weaklings on each coast, they have a season, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I do think the beef market is fairly priced now. We've kind of broke off the highs. The deferreds are factoring in the fact that there's a downturn coming in cash. We have seen that, and there's a discount on those deferred futures. So I think that helps keep the bottom underneath of us. I think the best thing that could happen to the cattle market is we just kind of slop sideways in a $3 or $4 range for the next 30, 45 days and kind of build a base in here. And so I think that can happen. Obviously, the cattle market always has one eye on the economy and the stock market. That's a little bit worrisome with some of these economic reports we've seen with job numbers kind of shrinking and unemployment ticking up just a little bit, although I think it was unchanged on this morning's report. I think it's 4.2%, but those job numbers continue to scare the market a little bit. But barring some huge, black swan on the economy, I think that the cattle market and the beef market are going to be pretty stable in here and building the base. And, maybe this demand can hold together and we can kind of see a rally out, into towards winter and spring like we normally do, without much more of a break in here. 175, 178 seems to be a really good value on cattle right now.
All right, Chip, good stuff. Good place to stop. Folks want to reach out to you, get more information about what you're doing over at Blue Reef Agri Marketing. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, best way, just call our main office in Morton, 309-550-7213. We'd love to chat with you.
All right, Chip, appreciate you being on, man, and thanks. We'll catch you again next week.
All right. Good luck on the Friday Night Lights, Casey.
That's right, baby. Bringing it hard. All right. Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast. Check the video version of this out over on the YouTube channel, which is the Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. And go to movingironllc.com. I guess we're keeping TikTok. I don't know. I guess last I knew they were dumping it, but I haven't heard anything about it for a while. So check me out on TikTok. As I'm over there at Moving Iron Podcast. And you can also go, like I said, go to movingironllc.com. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Chip Nellinger. Let's move smart, folks. Out. Iron Podcast is brought to you by these great sponsors. Are you looking to value your equipment more accurately, target the right buyers and close more deals, reach your ideal customer? Then look no further. Fusable isn't just about ag data, it's about action. Our best-in-class solution empowers you to value your equipment accurately, make informed decisions, and find the perfect prospects. Ignite your dealership's growth at fusable.com/movingiron-podcast. Out in the field, every decision counts. You wouldn't plant without testing your soil, so why would you prospect blind? Introducing EDA, your one-stop shop for ag equipment intel. EDA goes beyond specs and prices. You get deep dive data on every piece of equipment like UCC filings that help track ownership changes and uncover potential sales leads. D&B firmographics, which help you understand the financial health and buying power of potential customers. Market trends that help you stay ahead of the curve, and insights on equipment demands and pricings. With EDA, you're not just looking at data, you're seeing opportunity. Find the right buyer, sell smarter, and build lasting relationships. Visit edadata.com for your free demo and unlock the power of knowledge. For over 80 years, Iron Solutions has been your go-to data source for ag dealers, lenders, and manufacturers. Get powerful appraisal and value forecasting tools that fuel profitable decisions anytime, anywhere. Get your free demo at ironsolutions.com. Iron Solutions, confidence in every click. Today, there are many ways to finance ag equipment, but nobody delivers simple, fast, or flexible financing like AgDirect. Learn more about your options to buy, lease, and refinance equipment at agdirect.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Move more iron with Axon.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.